One more time from the top. So on Monday and Wednesdays, I I I'm in class, but it's an online class. And in order to be in my online class, I have to mute the mic. Otherwise, everything I say ends up in the classroom. So now every time I start on Monday and Wednesdays, I always start my show with the mic dead. So let me try again. Good evening, my fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is I, and I am Guy. I'm coming to you live from Applewood Station, where it is 12 degrees Celsius. And we are good to go. And we are rolling. So we are here. I've got a lot of you guys starting out tonight, don't I? I've got Brent and Ray and Jan. That's a lot of you guys starting out tonight. That's pretty cool. Good to see you guys. Good to see you all and joining me here and joining me on stream and stuff like that. So I had a thought about what it would be. Wouldn't it be interesting to do sort of back parts of oh, there we go. Do some backstory pieces for Tamerlan. Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Like have them all sort of starting out from the movie era. There's a couple of Tamerlan stories that won't ever translate to Bellatrix Rising. And so I always think about that. Like there's a couple of stories that'll never, because most of the stories from Tamerlan moved over to Bellatrix Rising and all is good. But one of the things that they're like, there's just like two stories that'll never make it. They can't convert because just the nature of the beast. And so I was just going to originally just let those guys just kind of go. But then I was thinking about it recently. I'm like, I could kind of do it as sort of a, just kind of wrap it up sort of thing and wrap the stories and stuff like that. Wouldn't be an impossibility. Be kind of fun, I think. So it's just something I was thinking about idly while driving home and stuck in traffic today. And what else can you do when you're stuck in traffic but think idly? That's pretty much what I did. So it's kind of cool in its own way. So I was looking, starting Monday, we've got the schedule opens up for next semester. And one of the things that's on the next semester is a study abroad class, which would be in Japan. And I'm not sure whether it's going to open or not. We'll have to see. But if it does, there's like 3 or 4 trips to Japan to do different ethnographic regional studies on the local Japanese culture. And I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun. Because it'd be this wild run. Of course, I'm going to Japan in December, but that's a me trip. I'm going back to see my buddies and my friends in Japan and hang out with some people and go around and, go to the Ghibli Museum. And so, I mean, like, that's all the fun stuff. I wouldn't be able to do fun stuff when I'm on ethnographic duty because I'd be on research duty. So it'd be work, and they'd be putting me to work studying the people of Japan, peoples that I'm relatively familiar with. So, like, I'm pretty familiar with that culture. That's not an uncomfortable culture. It's not very different. So I'm gonna enjoy that, hanging out over there and being in Japan. Where is that? Whoa! What are you talking about, Brent? Wait! I'm bringing up maps.google.com. I have my places I want to try to hit while I'm there, while I'm in Japan. There's all these places I want to go to. Because I have an N scale Yamanote line train and I need an engine. So I'm actually not opposed to. Thanks. That's so useful. Kato. Oh, Hobby Center Kato. That's not good. Densha. Kato Biru. So the Kato building. You beeping me over in my area again? You did send it to me via Discord, didn't you? I can tell because Discord just went beep. Kato USA, though. All right. All right. Hang on. Okay. Why am I not? No, this isn't showing what I'm looking for. That didn't help me at all. Oh, well. I'm like, so you keep sending me the Kato USA stuff, which is fine, but there we go. See, now that's a useful place that we can look at. I'm getting back into right. So it's in Shinjuku. Nishiochiai, Shinjuku. Oh, wow. There's like a train right there. I mean, I guess that's probably a thing. All right. 1-30-15. No. Oh, hey, look at that. It's really close in here. Okay, so that's probably not it, though. But Hobby Center Kato probably is. That's it. Saved. Travel plans. Done. So the link that, or the address that you gave me in that link right there, puts it about 3 blocks to the west. But it actually was close enough that in the picture I could see where we're headed. It has a train out front. I'm just saying it has a train out front. It has trains inside. Has entire layouts. It looks like. Oh wow, look at that. That's amazing. There's an entire shipping yard in here. I'll bet you that I can find myself my engine for my Yamanote line. What you want to bet? Odds are good. Oh yeah, they've got even a Yamanote line running, but that's an HO Yamanote. But still, I could probably find me an in-scale Yamanote in here pretty quickly. I'd be willing to bet. Yep, okay. So noted. I will send you pictures. There are lots of pictures already in there. Oh, there's a Shinkansen. Damn it. I don't really need a Shinkansen, except now I need a Shinkansen. Wonder if they've got road. They might have road. Looks like they have road. Yeah, see, this is the way to do things. And I could buy a whole bunch of little cars and a whole bunch of roads and a whole bunch of stuff. Because really, what I kind of want's a lot of cars to go around my in-scale train. I'm just saying. Is my breaking up Mikey thingy? Oh, probably because I'm doing way too much on this. All right, I've saved it. We've saved it. I should be less Robotech-a-diggy-diggy. Just like my guitar playing, Ray. I'm just saying, I've been learning guitar now for almost 2 months now. And I'm going to say for the record that I am badass about guitar. I'm bad at playing, and my guitar sounds like ass. But I am definitely badass. Just saying. But on the flip side, I think it's classic, is what they call it. Let me show you, because you can tell me better. Like I said, I've been playing for 2 whole months, so I wouldn't consider myself an expert. But this is what I got here. And I think, because it's nylon, but this was my dad's guitar. And when he passed away, before he passed away, I said, "Hey, Dad, can I have the guitar?" And he said, "Sure. I don't think I've played it since the 1970s." And I'm like, "That's all right." And he said, "Do you want to play the guitar?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, it might make me like have more rounded skill if I played guitar." And he said, "Okay." So I got his guitar, but it's a 3/4 size or whatever, so it's not a full size guitar. But the cool thing is, and it's kind of hard to see this, but the strings are rainbow colored. So I was having some fun with, I found out I could get rainbow colored strings. Hey, yeah. Kind of like the robotic sound, yeah. I am not good at this. Like I said, I am bad at my guitar and it sounds like ass. That makes me badass. Anyway, my dad's guitar, ladies and gentlemen. As time goes on, I will get better at this. I wonder why I'm having robotic sound issues. I'm guessing I have too many things going on. So I'm going to go on ahead and start shutting stuff down. Yeah. I'm going to close stuff down to see if I can get myself some juice back. I'm wondering whether I'm killing up some bandwidth here. Or maybe it's just a bad night for me to be online. Who knows? But that's all right. Sometimes that happens. Hit the A. I just recently found where A was on the fretboard. Because up until about 3 days ago, I could play E, F, and G. And I realized that if I skipped 2 frets, I'd end up at A. I don't expect to be awesome at guitar yet. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The whole point behind playing guitar is not, I have no aspirations. I just think it's cool. That's my dad's guitar, so it's like being with him for a minute or two, you know what I mean? So, when I play guitar, at least I'm kind of being with my dad for a little bit, and that's always nice. I miss my dad a lot. He passed away about 2 years ago now, and it's still not easy, you know. So, kind of nice to have anything that has me hanging out with dad a little bit, because I miss him. So yeah, guitar. Although it's funny, my guitar teacher is saying, "This is great and all, but you really need a bigger guitar." I'm like, okay. So I'm probably looking into getting a bigger guitar. I actually kind of wouldn't mind having an electric. You know what I mean? Because then that could be my little acoustic, and then I could have an electric and actually kind of do some real shredding. I have an amp downstairs for my violin, which is electric, and um, that's, electric violin is something else. Put a distortion pedal on an electric violin is kind of fun. So it is what it is. Am I still breaking up? Are we still kind of? Maybe I was made for the bass. So, I mean, my whole thought is, yeah, yeah, and being close to them is cool. You know what I mean? Like, and I agree with you, Jan. I agree. This is one of those things, and it's just so weird too because Dad made it through COVID. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, wow, because we were sure. Dad smoked cigarettes all of his life, so his lungs were really in bad shape. So toward the end there, I was like, if COVID hits him, you know what I mean? Like, COVID's gonna COVID's gonna kill him because he doesn't have the. And even Dad was like, if I get COVID, that's it. You know that. And so he went and got the. I do play violin very badly. I'm badass at violin too. But I've been playing violin longer than I've been playing guitar, so I'm more badass. I don't know, less badass. Maybe I'm less badass at violin. Who knows? Anyway, but yeah, it was one of those things. He even got the COVID vaccine when it came out, and even that we were worried about because the vaccine is a little rough on people. Especially that first run. That first run of the vaccine was pretty rough on people, and he made it through that too. He just didn't make it anywhere past that, very much past that. So, oh well. He had a couple of bad bouts, and then I went down there and hung out with him for about 6 weeks. We would. We're both badass. I don't know, Ray. You're probably better than me. Actually, that's not even a probably. I am absolutely sure you are better than me. Yeah, COPD sucks. So yeah, Ray, I am absolutely sure you are better than me because if you can play any note beyond E, F, and G, we're good. You're better than me right there. I'm still trying to get my fingers to just come down on the board and stay. You know what I mean? I keep wanting to flatten them out. The piano Asian thing. There's an Asian piano thing. Oh, you play. What does that mean? Wait, is it a Mongolian? Actually, I'm sure that Mongolian pianos are exactly like all the other pianos. There's nothing interesting about that. Although I have to admit, I have considered trying to pick up some of the more obscure Japanese instruments like koto or shakuhachi or shamisen because I think those would be fun. But I feel like I should probably pick up a traditional instrument at least first and be pretty good at it because I need to be kind of good at this stuff. Hey, Happy Panda. Just a regular piano. I don't think there's a Mongolian piano. I'm just making a joke. Not a good joke either. Wasn't even really a good joke. It's just that they're always, oh, we're back. I think I'm having connection problems tonight. And so I'm getting robotic, which is why we may be cutting the stream short tonight a little bit. I am throat singing. That's what I'm doing. Sarge, I am totally throat singing. Man, this is the most we've had on here in a while. And it's all my buddies too. Look at all you guys. You're all my buddies. We got Sarge on here. We got Panda. We've got Brent and Ray and Jan. We're doing great over here. We're doing great. We were talking about music and making music. Yeah. I want to make Sticks jokes. I really do. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo, domo. Domo, domo. Trying to think. There's like two things in that song where they speak Japanese, but they're all Americans, so their accent is so mangled that I can't remember what it is they're saying because it's all just mangled mush. That's all right. That's all right. So, tonight we're talking about the shifting status of anthropology in museums. I hope that sounds enlightening to everybody. It's a 36-page reading. He's so mean to me. It's like this huge reading I've got to do. Oh well. It's all I got to do is check in on this reading, and that's fine. It's not a big deal. But tomorrow we're going to have a visitor in our class from the Denver Museum of Art, and he's going to be talking to us about repatriation of artifacts, which, no, he's coming in from the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. So, did you see that there was, oh man, somewhere I saw a fMRI of a throat singer, and like you could see all of the parts of her throat going. It was so cool and kind of gross, but it was really cool. Yeah, that's actually what they're doing here. They're tearing out the entire wing that has been in there since I was a kid. I remember going into that wing when I was a kid, and it was, at the time, I went with a couple of friends of my mom who were Lakota, so they were local tribe, and I remember them just kind of snickering, like the entire time we were walking. They were like, "This isn't the way it was," and they just kept telling me this isn't the way it was. And okay, I was like 9 or something like that, so I was like, okay, what did I know? So yeah, I we went on a field trip a couple of weeks ago to the anthropology basement, because underneath the museum is this massive anthropology section that only people who are anthropologists can get into. Like, it's not open to the public, it's only open to anthropologists. And so we went down there, and that's where they do all of the cleanup and work on artifacts and things like that. And they were talking about repatriation of the artifacts. And the problem is that some of the artifacts now they're finding are forgeries. They're not real. So they were, in the 1950s, people were selling stuff to museums, and they would just go out and make a duplicate of something and then sell it to the museum. And now they're having to go through and verify their artifacts. And if they belong actually to the native tribes, they're trying to repatriate them, give them back to the tribes. And a lot of the tribes are saying, you know what, we'd rather have them on display here. So the tribes are giving them back to the museum. So they're kind of in this loop. And then they're actually going to end up making an entire exhibit on forgeries because they've got so many forgeries. Yeah, forgeries, like we said, forgeries. So, and I find that fascinating too. And also, I find it very interesting and fascinating how they're working with the tribes now. Like, there's actual like back and forth communication. The tribal elders are getting involved. It's very nice. Yes. Yeah, Sarge, I actually, that's one of the things that's just been mind-boggling to me to some degree because your godmother is totally on the same like thing. Yeah, that's exactly. Oh, another Tagalog fact. I love Tagalog. We're getting awesome cultural facts from Jan. I think so too. This is good for all of this. Um, and it's going to be great. And that I kind of think because of my history with the tribal nations, I probably will end up doing work when I'm done with my degree. I'll be doing work in the tribal nations probably because I already kind of have an in-ish. So what you got there, Jan? What's up? What's going on? Hey, Brent, while we're on this side thing, we're going to be in Tokyo for a month. I don't know if this is something that you'd want to do, but little teeny train engines aren't a big deal. Oh, I'm sure that they just hand it to you, man. They just give it to you. There's 5 copies, so you know. Oh, that's interesting. And that would make some sense because both the Chinese sort of hand down languages like Japanese and Korean are very strict about consonant vowel combinations. There aren't that many contracted where consonants are together like that. Oh, I was just saying that while I'm in Japan, if we do make it to the train store, if we figure out how much it costs and you give me a specific target, we might be able to make something happen. I'm just saying. Train engines aren't that big, even if you were an HO scale. I mean, I'm an N scale because I love the small scale, but I am only getting an engine. I have the rest of the trains. I have the rest of the engine, or I have the rest of the cars. I just don't have an engine. So I'm just going to go buy an engine. It's because when I went to go buy an engine, the engine was like, I don't remember, like Ichimayem or something like that. It was $100, and I didn't want to pay $100 at the time. But now I'm kind of like, but now I've for years have had the rest of the train, and I'm like, I should just get the engine, and then see if they've got little in-scale roads, because then the in-scale roads would be really cool too. Just saying. So, so yeah, I think that's really interesting, Jan, the way you were talking about
Tagalog. And it's interesting too because I have heard tag-log and I have heard taglog with no sort of in that same vein. And it seems like I've heard two different versions of that, where the consonants are kind of mushed together, and one where the consonants are not together. I find that fascinating too. Interesting. And that S sound, Jan, I'm not that familiar with Tagalog except for the little bits that I hear from people. Was that a is or was it an ish sound? Did you get the SH or did you just have a S like it is in English, that S sound? And Sarge, we could do that. That first one, so the S sound with no H, like snake. That's cool. What I have noticed is that SH sound shifts across Asia. And I find that cool too. Like depending on what part of Asia you're in, that SH shifts and moves over. But yeah, Sarge, I am more than willing to hang out with you at lunch or whatever before I go over to Japan. However, if all goes well on Monday, I may be registering for a class in the spring that's going to send me back to Japan many times. So I'll be going back in on ethnographic research through Japan. So will not be the first flight to Japan for me, because I'll be going lotsly because I love Japan. Japan's awesome. It's also where I'm like based out of. So like I'm going to be studying the rest of Asia. That's totally fine. I'm not going to follow that any further there, Brent. I'm just going to leave that right where I found it. So, yep, looking forward to heading out to that part of the world. And Sarge, my Fridays tend to be relatively open, not always, but because of course my Fridays are all open. It's just that that's also my only day off. I work over the weekends, and yeah, I'll give you a holler this Friday. I'll actually put it into my phone so I don't forget it. No, I don't need you. I'll put it in my phone so that I can give you a holler on Friday. So that works. And call Sarge. I assume your phone number has not changed. See you later on next stream. There we go. There we go. So, excellent. Yeah, I'll give you a holler on Friday, and then we can talk about whether we want to have lunch or something like that and discuss heading over to Asia. I'm a little bit farther away from your normal tromping grounds, but I mean, I guess I'm closer. Cool. I'll give you a call on Friday. So that's cool. Wow, there's 8 of us on here. Good heavens. It's like the most I've ever had in the show for a while. Look at that. And the majority of you guys are actually on my YouTube channel, which is kind of actually amazing. I do have 3 of you guys over on Kane's channel, though. That's kind of funny. Which is okay. So,
Yeah. Let's see. What else was I going to talk about today? We were talking about museums because tomorrow I have a guest lecturer at our applied anthropology class. Next Monday, I register for classes for the next semester. I need to hunt down my professor. Ooh, oh, Dark 30, I hate that. I'll see you in the morning, Sarge. Or I will talk to you on Friday. I may or may not be broadcasting tomorrow, depending on how things go. I'm supposed to go build models with a friend, and sometimes that runs past 9 o'clock, so I may not be on here until like 10 or so. So I may or may not see you guys. We'll have to see. Um, Depend on how it rolls out. On the There you go. Good, good, good. Jan's on my channel, which is fine. I also, for some reason, my Twitch channel picks up nobody. So I never end up on anybody's page. I never, you know what I mean? Like, whereas Can's channel always seems to be in the mix somewhere. And so Can's channel always picks up people, new people. And so I always have to say, please switch over to the GS Davis Art channel on all channels, because you never know when Can's channels may get disconnected. I mean, they may not get disconnected anytime soon, but they might. I don't know. So, yeah. So looking through here, let's see what we got on our applied here, huh? We're talking about repatriation here on. So one of the things that's interesting that I've been studying is that anthropology did not start out well. You know what I mean? Like, it's everybody in anthropology. Oh, good. Um, I'm glad you found me on Twitch there, Ray. Because I always feel like I never get found over here. Every time people come in, they're like, hey, we love your stream. It's really cool. We're enjoying it quite a bit. And then but we came in. And then I'll invariably somebody will go, so it's really good to talk to you, Can. And I'll be like, I know what channel you're on. Nothing wrong with Can. He's a good fella. And he does a lot of streaming too. It's just he usually does his streaming earlier in the evening. And so he and I don't usually overlap. But that's all right. So, yeah, back to this early. Oh, okay. That's right. That's why I recognize that when you come in on Twitch. I remember that name. So, but yeah, that was when it started, anthropology. Of course, all anthropologists sort of have a similar thought process. Although, I mean, I've learned recently that anthropologists have a different mission often. For me, anthropology is very straightforward. It's giving a voice to people who don't have voices or don't have a voice in the larger world. So, like, if you're in archaeology, I don't remember, let me see. If you are in archaeology, that's digging up bones, right? Let's see if I can see when you started following me. And if you dig up the bones, you're giving a voice to the people who are dead. Those people are dead and you're giving them a voice. And I think that's fascinating to me. Here's my profile. I don't know how to find out whether it says when I am following me. Well, that's a thing. Did not expect that, but okay. I am following me. Yeah, see, I can't figure out who's following who here. A lot of random messages. Okay. Like there's nothing really here. Hmm. I'm poking around the old Twitch stream here, seeing what kind of disturbing things I can pull up on my Twitch stream. Right? Oh, let's knock. I can't call in to join my own stream. I feel sad. I mean, what if I want to call my own stream? Behold. Followed channels. How do I find out who's following me? I know there's a button for it. I think it probably was too. You've been with me for a long time, my friend. You've been here long enough that you and I have kind of gotten kind of crossways a couple of times, as I recall. Which just to me means that you're actually closer than people get close when they're close to each other. That's one of the things. So I don't know. I know there's a button for it, Ray. I just can't find it right now. I'll find it at some point. I remember seeing you can see how long they've been following you button. But each and every one of these is different. And as you know, I'm using a restreamer. So it's bouncing from my restreamer to, yep, we've had our beefs. And we're still buddies. And that's the important part. That's what makes the world go round. Yeah, so there's all these interesting things that it's saying in this particular applied commentary. Well, I have to finish this someday. I assume that you mean Euro-Asian Georgia and not America, Georgia. As far as I know, because like the closest to anywhere near Georgia that I've ever had anybody on here was when I have Jackson on here because they're from Tennessee. But no, I have nobody Euro-Asian Georgia. Eurasian Georgia. Agreed. It's a good part of the world. It's an interesting part of the world. It's another one of those that has a deep, rich culture, and many people don't know about it. You know what I mean? Like, I like that part of the world. That's a fascinating place. So I absolutely agree. Georgia is beautiful. Meaning the language? Yeah. It does have very pretty letters. Look at that. It almost makes it look like Lord of the Rings script, you know?
It's Armenian, and that script is like that same cultural group that Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, that entire area through there is one linguistic group, and yeah, it's all one really fascinating linguistic group, and it's called a Kartvelian language. Um, it's got lots of different dialects, but it's a or Kartozan is its language family, so that's kind of cool. I always find those to be really cool. And it's only, I mean, like that entire language group is only for the South Caucasus. So it's in that entire group through there, but the script is all that same sort of thing. And the really interesting thing about it is it doesn't pass into Turkey very far or into actual Russia. It's really very limited as far as a language goes. I mean, you've got a little bit that goes into both sides, but not a whole lot. And that is kind of cool. I always think that's neat. So that makes sense. So the thing that's most interesting about the Cardvellian language group is that it doesn't seem to have a root. So it is its own language. It's almost like the people who created that language had no previous language. You know what I mean? Like either that or they are the only remaining branch of a language we've never found. So we'll see you on the flip side, Jan. So, but I agree with you, Ray. There is a lot of fascinating stuff to Cardvellian languages. I'm fascinated by Cardvellians all the time. You're still working on this reading for class today. Well, I am not feeling very motivated to read this long 36-page document on museums. I want to go to a museum, but I don't really particularly not feeling the yeah, I feel like Miyazaki was very influenced by a number of different things. Like Kiki's Delivery Service is very influenced by like Italy. And I agree with you. I feel like Nausicaa comes from very much that Caucasus region. And I think you're right.
And even if you think about it, the language on the writing on the tapestry, I think even looks Cartvellian. You know what I mean? Like now that I think about it in my head, I think you're right. Because it does. It looks Cartvellian to me. I should just find a good question here. Okay, action anthropology. I want to find that. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I feel like whenever he home bases, like whenever he comes back to hang on real quick. Normal time off. And as for you need him, that's a higher priority. Hang on real quick. This is my writing team. I pick up people for school in the morning because I like to drive. And I really like to drive a lot. And so I pick up people all the time and take them to school with me because I'm going to drive anyway. And I prefer to drive. And a lot of people are like, I did not, which is interesting because I'm doing an analysis of Ron right now. So it's interesting that you would bring up a Kurosawa flick because I'm in the middle of an analysis of Ron, which, I mean, Ron's such a beautiful movie. Just such a wonderful piece of art. Oh, I love Ron. Anyway, Ron, it is what it is. But I did not know that that was directed by Kurosawa. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that now. Because I'm like, now I kind of want to re-see that now. Now that you mentioned that, I'm like, wait a minute. All right, we have found a right. Oh. So my Japanese teacher was saying, okay, on the analysis, you have to tell me something you learned from Ron. And I'm like, well, I learned that Kurosawa's wife died during the production. And she goes, no, 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 no. You have to tell me something about the culture that you've learned. And which is interesting because I've seen Dersu Ozala, but
I swear I saw it. I don't know. Maybe I did. No. Maybe I saw it subtitled. It has been a long time. So, I mean, probably 20 years. Maybe. Maybe. So, I don't remember now. So, but anyway, I was talking to my teacher and she's like, no, 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 something about the culture. And I said, I hate to say this, but I saw Ron probably only about 4 years after it was released in Japan. And she laughed and then she was like, you're serious, aren't you? I'm like, yes. I think I saw it in 1990. Maybe 1991, but not very long after it had been released. So, anyway. Anyway, yeah, it's a thing. Hmm. I'm still reading through all of these papers. I'm just, the papers are always fascinating to me, and I really do enjoy reading about these accounts. And of course, this is college, and I am studying to be an anthropologist, so these are all anthropological accounts. And tonight, I just don't feel it. You know, I'm like having a hard time with this. I'm like, I don't really feel, I'm not feeling the the want. Oh, this one's only 13 pages long. Hmm. You mean the connection between Ron and King Lear? Because that's actually not even like hidden. That's pretty blatant. I think there's a pretty blatant connection between Ron and King Lear. In fact, I think that Kurosawa himself even said that it was a rehash of King Lear to some degree.
But I mean, Star Wars is a rehash of 47 Ronin. So, like, that doesn't, I don't know. Another particularly nice movie, 47 Ronin. Love that movie. Another good movie. You just mix up the stories. King Lear is the one that is connected straight to Ron. That same structure. Oedipus is a little bit different. I'm not sure that Oedipus is, I don't know. Unfortunately, you're kind of hitting the edge of my knowledge base out there. I used to really be into Shakespeare when I was younger, and then kind of ran out of it, So, and Ron is so good, but I also like Rashomon. Rashomon is so good too. Like, everything Akira Kurosawa does is pretty solid. But when I was first getting into anime and Japanese culture, it all hit me as sort of a rush in the 1990s. So right at the very beginning of the 1990s, I started to really get into all of these things all at once. And I remember there once was a time where I thought the anime Akira was connected to Akira Kurosawa because of the word Akira. Because I'd never, I know, right? It was all so new. It was all such a big, huge push on me all of a sudden that everything just got mixed together. And I remember being kind of surprised that Akira Kurosawa was not involved in the movie Akira. I was like, what? How did that happen? It was very funny. Yep. This is all about our museum here. They're going to talk about freaking hell at all. There's a lot of discussion about NAGPRA here. And the NAGPRA initiative was a law that was put into place that said that we can't take cultural artifacts from natives specifically and put them in museums, which was the law. And that's great. But the problem was that these museums had collections that predated NAGPRA. And so part of the problem has been that they've had to go back through and deal with all of that and try to figure out what to do with it. And you're dealing with collections that haven't seen the light of day in these people's lifetime. So, like, when I was down in that part of the museum and we were looking at the collection, the part of the collection that the current researchers were going through at that time was from 1963. Even I wasn't alive then. So, like, nobody had even opened this collection up in almost 60 years. And so they're still working on trying to figure out how it got there, who it belongs to, what should they do with it, try to find people who are connected to it. And whoo, what a mess. Boy, it is and they're, of course they have to do it scientifically, so they can't just guess. Everything has to make sense. It has to be documented. There has to be paperwork, and I know this sounds really strange, but I was kind of like, I could come down here and help you guys. You know what I mean? Like, that was one of my thoughts was, this would be a fun thing to organize,
just go through all these things and find who they belong to and connect them with the right people and make sure that they're repatriated and, things like that. Just sounds like a lot of fun, which I know sounds weird, but the world takes all kinds of people. Like, you have to have all kinds of different people in the world to make the world go round. So you have to have the weirdos who really think it's cool to order and sort things. Makes me feel like I've accomplished something. I've done stuff. All of this is sorted and organized and is going to the right people, So, yeah, Seven Samurai is a good one. I am just putting in this because this is due by 11 tonight, but it's not a big deal. He just wants to make sure we read them. So, here we go. The Jokers of the world. You're talking about people who like to order and organize things? I am definitely a joker, though. I mean, to be fair, I love to tell jokes. A nice, decent joke is a wonderful thing in my book, especially if it makes people laugh. I don't know, though. I'm enough of a dad now that I think that I'm pretty okay if. All right. Fair. Hang on real quick. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm looking through this and I'm like, oh, I see. We have a comic book. That's an interesting read. I don't usually get comics as a read. All right. I have to make a quick delivery of a book to the kiddo. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Are you in bed? Are you asleep? Can I come in? No, it's fine. Can you come out? We're not done with streaming yet. Did you brush your teeth? Yeah, I pulled you out. You might want to read that though. Since that's another culture that wanders through our world. All right, I'm back. What do you mean I'm into fashion? There we go. I mean, I guess I should say I am, yes, certainly into fashion. So, yep. So, all right. As for the Adelaide, Shannon, and Swagger. There we go. There we go. And ignore that message. To be fair, I am somewhat into fashion. Just saying. I think fashion's fascinating. Although, sadly, I think most of my interest in fashion would be futuristic. Because, you know, we should think about what everybody's wearing in the future. All right. Assignment complete and on time. Which is good because I have New Balances. No, not that. Into
future fashion. All right, guys. I'm about to wrap up everything. My homework is complete for the night. I don't need to do any further information, I don't think. I'll go back and make sure I check my to-do list, though. Grammar 1 review. I don't think there's anything I can do to help that one. I think we are just done. Background research and article analysis. That one still needs to be done. It's late, but I'll get it in. Exploratory interview is not due for another 5 days. 4 days. Makes it due like Sunday night. That's a weird time for me to get it. And especially for a class that's a Tuesday, Thursday class. I wonder why he's got me coming in on a Sunday night for that one. That's kind of a strange. I mean, even my Japanese class isn't in on that time. But I need to get my other piece here, the portfolio assignment article analysis in. So that one, the article analysis is becoming kind of tough because I'm trying to find specifically a type of information that isn't coming in very easily because I don't think people are seeing the connection that I'm seeing. So that means one of two things. Either A, I think there's a connection and there really isn't, which is probably the most likely thing. Because I mean, B, I am seeing something awesome and new that nobody's ever seen before. Don't think that's very likely. Just saying. So, all right, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and bow out. I know Jan went to take a nap. I'm going to miss chatting with her and stuff, but that's all right. She can come back in later on. So, good to have you on here, Ray. Good to see you, Jan, if you come back to the thread at some point here, obviously. Sarge, Brent, good to have you here as well. And as always, it's good to have you guys here. And earlier we had Happy Panda, and way early on we had Yap for just a minute or two. I don't know if Yap's still out there, but either way, I'm glad to have all of you guys with me today. This was a good evening and very much a good offset from the night with our troll this week. So I'll hopefully see you tomorrow, but like I said, I'll probably be late. So just kind of keep that in mind because I'm going to be out building models because I really want to. I just think that sounds like a fun thing to do. So I will see you all later, and as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Good night.